Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching for a long time, you know that every so often we have big guests on the show. Last year, I know a couple of times we had Will Smith on. I know he's in the news a lot recently now, but everybody has seen him on our show numerous times. I think sometimes we had Nicolas Cage in 2021. And tonight we have a special episode. We have a special guest. And for those of you who don't know this, because he's a humble person, he doesn't brag on this a lot. He's actually a great talented writer himself. We're going to review Spiral. Now, why is that important? Because Spiral is actually a screenplay written by the executive consultant. And it's based on a story that he developed about what it would be like if he was a police detective. And so as you watch Spiral, I want you to imagine Chris, the executive consultant, as a detective. Anyway, let's start the show. Live from Gotham. You saw that intro, huh? Wasn't it long? Was it too long? Should we cut it? Anyway, I told you that we have a special guest. Here he is, the man himself, the executive consultant. Sir, how are you doing?
I mean, I'll be doing fine, except for I can't believe you insulted me by putting me in this movie. I would have never wrote this in my life.
Okay. No, I know.
And you called it a screenplay. Chris Rock started it, so it was actually a scream play because the man shouted the whole freaking movie. The whole movie screamed.
So you're telling me you're not a fan? He's no Adam Sandler in dramatic roles.
No, I've never even seen an Adam Sandler dramatic role.
Really? He's very good. Watch Uncut Gems if you get a chance.
Uncut what?
Uncut Gems.
Is this on Pornhub or what?
No, he's a jewelry dealer, but he's addicted to gambling, and so through the course of the movie, you see him go further and further and further into that addiction of gambling and where it takes him, and what he's willing to do. It's very, very good. Very, very.
Hopefully, you jump out of a plane. You saw this movie.
Well, I did. I spiraled for sure. But tonight you can call me Morse. Why? We'll find out later. Anyway, I'm going to run this one. Chris did Jigsaw. Doing big numbers, doing big things. You tell me what you think in the comment section of that video. But Spiral, here it is. This, I believe, is a ninth in the series of the Saw franchise. This one kind of branches out to do its own thing. And instead of it being civilians, this time police. Corrupt police are targeted. Now, for those of you confused at home, you're like, how can there be corrupt cops? I know, because no cop you've ever seen on TV has ever admitted to anything, to doing anything wrong. But in this one, whoever wrote this clearly believes that all cops are bad, because only Chris Rock, with the exclusion of his screaming, is a good guy. That entire precinct is corrupt. But is it a good movie? More on that later. Let's find out if we had any best of, worst of scenes in this movie. Chris, you wrote the film. Please tell us what was your favorite scene, right?
Yeah. I didn't have one. And that's I really didn't.
Okay.
I'm trying to think because it's been a couple weeks now since it was the first time I saw this movie.
Okay.
Nobody liked to watch it fresh, but I was trying to catch up on everything. I had a lot of stuff. I had to go see Saw X, so I had to watch it before, and I didn't have one. I'm still trying to think. I'm still flabbergasted, but I didn't have one.
I get the feeling that we're going to have very radical opposing opinions.
Oh, I found it. There was one trap that wasn't bad. It was a trap where it still didn't make sense. I think it was throwing glass at the guy.
Oh yeah, the recycling plant.
Yeah, that one wasn't bad. So yeah, that's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Shout out to that guy who took that first volley of bottles like a G. I don't know if it was the Hennessy or the vodka, but he took that shrapnel in his back like he does it every Tuesday. Okay, shout out to him. And then Chris Rock was taking a long time.
He was.
He is trying to pick the lock with the bobby pin, and then he realized, oh wait, they told me it was in the trash can. But he did get hit. He did try and help him.
He took it, yeah.
So I'll give credit to both of them. Okay. his face was all tore up after that. Okay. My best scene though, and I agree with Chris, that was a strong one. I liked when the cop. There was a cop in this movie who they explain it differently in the film than what we see in the video. But I guess the guy had given him the finger or something like that.
Mhm.
So the cop literally walks up to the car after he pulled it over and just shoots the guy in the face or the chest. I don't know what, but kills him just outright. Okay, because
Mhm.
he was insulted. So I'm assuming the guy gave him the finger.
Mhm.
So he never calls himself Jigsaw in this movie, but
No.
I'll call him Spiral. Okay.
Mhm.
He sticks the guy's fingers in what looks like these finger traps, and he's in a pool of water, and he has 90 seconds to get out, or he'll be electrified, or he can bite down on this clamp piece. It looks like the thing that Amanda had, the bear trap, except when like if you had this bar and you bite down on it to take the pain, and the machine will slowly crank and peel his fingers off. I thought the acting in that scene was so good, and the depiction of that was so painful, especially the joints dislocating, the knuckles dislocating, and then pulling off slowly. That he could only take so much, and I thought it was very effective because again, I like psychological horror, and I think in this movie they had a lot more psychological kills in this than other ones. There was one that I thought was kind of like, okay, this could be in House of Wax, hint, hint, hint. But for the most part, the kills in this were pretty specific to the individual crime, quote unquote,
Yeah.
and they were very effective. That if you were in that situation, you would really have to steel yourself, your stomach, to do it, to get out of it. But there were actually ways to get out of it, and that's what I appreciated because that's what the original Jigsaw was all about. So I'd have to say that finger pulling / electrocution scene
Mhm.
was my favorite kill. The worst scene, much like if you watched our Jigsaw episode, um, has to be the acting. Chris talked about it. In some of the scenes, I thought that Chris Rock played it true to character. By the way, I didn't know this because this is also my first time seeing this movie. Samuel Jackson in this movie. I thought every scene that Samuel Jackson was in and his interaction with Chris Rock, who clearly Samuel Jackson had Chris Rock when he was 15 years old. But every scene that he had with his son, because Chris Rock plays his son, was spot on. And they had a great rapport between the two of them. But he did a phenomenal job. He obviously was the best actor. But and again, Chris Rock did well in a lot of the scenes. Okay, I liked his interaction with his partner, the rookie cop, and everything like that, and even the back and forth between him and the other cops who saw him as a snitch and a rat for doing the right thing. Okay, um, but the police captain, where did we get her? Was she in Jigsaw? I don't know. Um, it was really her and Chris Rock. I have to say that they were kind of like, "What are we doing here? Where's the director? Can we cut? Is this still filmed in digital or is it film? Do we got to get it out today?" And they just went ahead and shot it. But other than that, I think it was for the most part spot on. And I think that I don't think this was his first dramatic role because he's done other like drama comedies. I know he did was it Top Five or whatever like that. I didn't see that movie, but I
And
heard
in
good.
New Jack City, he was more dramatic, and then
We got a taste of New Jack City in this movie as well. Did you
he
did you
did.
catch
He
that?
did. I saw the nod to New Jack City.
Yeah. So and I did like that sequence. That was good. Okay. But again, Chris is right. He did scream his way through some of the dialogue, and I don't know if
Sometimes I'm like, why could you tone it down just a little bit?
yeah,
Just a little bit.
and I'm like, Chris, I can hear you. Like what's going on? But I guess that's how he does, it's serious now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, everything was serious. He was yelling at everybody.
No, Chris Rock didn't sleep through the entire making of this movie because but again, the way that the movie is set up, it did have that feel. So I like that realism. And I will say overall, the other cops did a great job in their portrayal. Except for the smartest cop in the precinct. Chris, do you know which one that was? The one who followed that obvious decoy into the sewers
Oh, the first one.
during during the busiest night of the year when everybody is upstairs partying and drunk, and they totally could hear him scream for help if he needed it. That cop had to be the smartest guy in the precinct. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't him. It was the other guy who goes into the abandoned warehouse, turns off his phone, tells his partner, hey, I know where the killer is. Don't tell the person who's running the investigation. Don't tell anybody. I'll go there alone, and I'll be the top cop to stop it. That was
I don't know. It was the fact that the entire precinct didn't realize this guy was clearly the killer. You can tell that from scene 1 where he was in. That's him. That's him right there.
Yeah. Speaking of the third smartest cop, Chris Rock, who clearly was the best detective out of all of them, yet he didn't see Kaiser Soze sitting right there in front of him, who was literally winking at him the whole time. And Chris, this is a callback to one of the Dynasty Club meetings. Can I get more feet? Because he was tapping him like, hey, Chris, it's me. Stop yelling. Can you hear me? It's me. It's me, God. And he told him over and over and over, I'm the killer. He even my name is Morse because Samuel Morse was halfway invented the telegraph. And this movie was telegraphed from opening scene. How no one saw that, I don't know.
How no one saw that? How he could not figure out that Samuel Jackson, his father, was kidnapped.
Samuel Jackson had 5 minutes of screen time, and the other 25 minutes he had been hanging up in a warehouse waiting for his son to get there. You're calling your father. You don't check to see, hey, did I send him any messages? Why? Because you remember the killer only erased the message he sent to him. He didn't erase the one that his father responded back, okay, I'll meet you there. Be safe. Why is dad saying that to me? That doesn't make sense. I'm calling him. Let me check these messages. Also, I'm watching this movie, okay? And at the end, the guy says, the killer, who's his rookie partner, okay, says to him, you can shoot me or save your father. You can't do both. Which leads the viewer to believe that there's something with the trap, he's going to bleed to death. Or you can shoot the bullseye sign and your father will drop down and he'll go free. Chris shoots the bullseye and then beats up the perp, who's the new jigsaw guy, in the freight elevator. The SWAT team saws down the thing. They see this guy who is literally dressed as a marionette puppet, who they can see from 5 feet away is the former chief of police. They say, hey, let's kill this guy. Chris Rock suddenly can't scream anymore because his throat is dry. And he's like, and then he looks over at the new jigsaw who's wiping a bloody nose, and he just pressed the first floor button on the freight elevator. So what? Is that the sequel? Like, I didn't understand that ending at all.
I didn't understand the ending either because it's like none of the cops saw this guy. Like, he just casually waving. It's like, all right, kill the black man.
Yeah. Was that supposed to be what they were saying? Like, I didn't understand that ending at all.
Didn't make sense. Chris Rock just looking at him like, guys, he's getting away. He's just casually going. It's casually going down, and that was the end.
Shout out to the pig man who was in every scene in the background, but nobody saw him. I don't know about you, but even when I wash the dishes, I always look over every once in a while because I think I see something passing behind me. But nobody in the midst of looking for this criminal thinks, hey, let me look behind myself. Let me put away my phone. Let me turn off my flashlight because there's a pig man with the cheesecloth somewhere in the background. Thanks, Steve. Actually, you know what, Chris? I lied because originally I was gonna rate this movie something entirely different because I did like the kills in it. But when I talk about this movie, no, I'm not gonna say this is a family show, ladies and gentlemen. Suffice to say, I'm blue. La-do-dee, la. There was no culmination in this movie, okay? It had such build up, such potential. And when I
She was
thought,
not in this movie. She's dead.
who's that? Amanda?
Skinamax, Jill Tuck.
She was in the last one in Jigsaw.
She wasn't in Jigsaw.
Yeah, she was the one who was interested in all those different killings and everything. Oh, also shout out to Lois Lane in the last one. We didn't mention her, but Lois Lane was in the last one. Laura Vandermoot from Smallville. She was in that one. You remember who blew her brains out with the sawed-off shotgun? That was she played Lois Lane from Smallville. You don't remember that?
I don't like that show.
It is a family show. I couldn't say what I was going to say before. Some of the acting was good. I thought how they portrayed the cops was very realistic. Sad to say, this isn't a political show, but I thought that was done spot on. Okay, if you've seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And how Chris Rock's character was treated, the chip on his shoulder because of that, how his father, the chief of police, acted. I thought that was very, very believable. And the drive that they all of a sudden, when it was just, they thought it was just a homeless man as the first kill, they couldn't give a damn. But when they realized that it was a cop, no time was wasted, no expense was spared. It was all full throttle ahead. And I thought that was very realistic. So I'm wavering, but anyway, that was my best and worst. Chris, do you have any worst? I got to know what your worst is because you said nothing was good.
Nothing was good. It was, Samuel L. Jackson, I'll give him good. I liked his what he had going with Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. I just thought Nick Cage could have did a little bit more at the end, but whatever. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up like last time. Stay with us. You're watching a Popular Review.
Talk to me.
What did the hand feel like?
It felt amazing. I could see and feel everything on the other side.
To answer your question, did Jigsaw defeat cancer in this movie? Wait, y'all reviewing Spiral or Saw X. There's been so many of these and Saw movies, I'm confused now. You are not alone, much like the song.
Spiral, not Saw X. Saw X is next week, maybe. We'll see. Only I've seen that movie, so I'm not sure if we're going to get a chance to do that. This Thursday, Talk to Me at 8:30 p.m. Yeah, looking forward to that one. I'm going to watch that probably tomorrow evening. But let's go ahead into, do you have any quotes for this movie, Spiral?
Yes. In parentheses, Scream.
What about recasting?
Much like Jigsaw and all the other ones, me. Steve, would you like to be? Would you like to be my recasted? You can
thumbs up and thumbs down. I'll go this time. Let's do this, huh?
Hello, Detective Banks. When was the last time you saw your father?
He could be anywhere. He could be anyone. We're gonna tear this city apart.
Jigsaw copycat. This is gonna go sideways fast.
So I want to say that I was going to scream, but I have roommates here. I don't know if they're asleep or something, so I'm leaving them alone. But I want to scream what I'm about to say. This is the line. The Batman. 3 movies in a row. The Batman's been better than what I've watched. 4 movies in a row. The Batman's been better than what I watched. And I really, really wanted to like this movie. I swear to you, I really did. I'm a fan of Chris Rock. I think he's a very talented comedian. I'm a fan of Samuel L. Jackson. And I say, you know what? I think they're going to be able to knock something out. Surprise me. I think it was going to be great. But I thought they were going to surprise me. They surprised me how bad this movie really was. Spiral is the second worst Saw movie. Only worse than Jigsaw.
Say that again?
It's the second worst Saw movie. Second only to Jigsaw.
I'm changing my vote simply because you're lying now.
I'm not lying. There's no other movie except for Jigsaw worse than Spiral. None. On you.
To that I say thumbs up. Here's why. Saw 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably X as well. That was an outrageous statement you made. I can't believe you said that with a straight face.
Saw 3 is better than Spiral. Saw 4 is better. Actually, all the Saws are better than Spiral except for Jigsaw. Saw 10, definitely. Saw 10 is like my third or fourth favorite one now. But we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, Thursday, talk to me next Tuesday, either a new franchise or Saw 10. If I can get somebody, one person to go see Saw X, I'll be right back here. But that's all I have. Morris, do you have anything?
I mentioned Scream, right?
So did Chris Rock.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
For Morris, for Scream, and for myself, the executive consultant, thank you so much for watching us here at Unpopular Review. If it's the Saw end, then hey, it's been a ride. 9 movies that we have done. Looking forward to the next franchise, whoever that'll be. Thanks for watching us. We'll see you right here.
Oh, wait.
Well,
Is Jigsaw the new Magic Johnson?
I'm afraid to ask why you asked that question. I feel like
That was inappropriate.
a Steven joke coming
That
up.
was inappropriate.
We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.